Must be most of the... But with age.
Begins by showing two people from an agent organization named MI7, who was opening the archive at that time, from a senior agent named Joni English, who will be assigned to carry out a new mission. Behind that, Joni himself has studied at a kung fu college, in the Tibetan plateau, to train dexterity and study kung fu martial arts. But actually Joni's purpose in coming to that place was none other than to forget past failures. When carrying out missions, security for the president of Mozambique.
Your job belongs to...
Fireworks have begun.
One day Joni was again summoned by MI7 to come to London immediately, and will be assigned again to carry out a mission.
Am I ready?
Yeah!
Long story short, Joni arrived in London, and he immediately met MI7's new leader named Pamela. There Pamela also assigned Joni to meet a former agent named Fisher, who is currently in Hong Kong, and it is known that Fisher contacted MI7 because he knew about the plan to assassinate the Chinese Prime Minister, which will take place at a meeting between the British and Chinese in the near future. But before leaving, Pamela orders Joni to take the agent equipment that he will need to carry out the mission in that place. Then there Joni meets two of his old friends who named Simon and Pact, who work as the head of the agent's equipment creator. Meanwhile Joni will also be accompanied by a new pro-agent, a man named Tucker.
It'll be an honor, sir.
When they arrived in Hong Kong, the two of them met Chinese people with glasses, at a casino, to get the address of Fisher, but there, Joni even had the wrong person. So in the end the person they were looking for had to be killed by bringing a conduit, which had the address from Fisher.
Is he dead, sir?
After knowing the whereabouts of Fisher, the two of them immediately rushed to meet him. Then their Fisher explained about a mercenary organization called Vortex, which had a secret weapon, and they would use it to kill the Chinese Prime Minister. Their Fisher, who was part of the Vortex member, he showed one of the three keys to open the secret weapon, and said that Vortex was the mastermind behind the assassination of the president in Mozambique. But when they were talking about this, suddenly Fisher was killed by a hitman grandmother, disguised as a cleaning officer service. Joni saw this directly. Chased after him, but behind that Fisher's key was actually taken by someone else, and of course this made Joni have to immediately chase that person, considering that the key was very important for the continuation of his mission.
Fisher. Hand it over, chimp.
Until finally Junipoon managed to get the key, then immediately returned to London. But when he arrived in London, Joni was shocked again, because the key he managed to get was lost, because it had been taken by a fake flight attendant named Susan. While contemplating his mistake, suddenly Joni caught Pamela's mother, who she thought was the assassin's grandmother, until because of that now Joni is even worse off. Because Pamela is becoming increasingly distrustful of Joni, to carry out this mission, but a MI7 psychologist named Kate believes Joni, and invites him to the MI7 headquarters. Then they're using a high-powered camera that can see even the slightest expression there. Kate also hypnotizes Joni, so he can recall events in Mozambique. so they get other information about the Vortex, until finally they find out the second member from the Vortex they were looking for, who turned out to be a former Mi-7 agent in Moscow, named Artem Karlenko, and currently Karlenko changed his name to Mudokan, and he likes to play golf, on a field whose location at that time was already known to Joni, until finally in this mission Joni also changed his name to Peter Adam, then pretended to take part in a match golf, and this was deliberately done by Joni and Tucker so that they could easily catch Karlenko, but it turned out that their whereabouts were known by the assassin's grandmother, who directly shot Karlenko, from a distance, until because of the consequences of that, now Karlenko had to be rushed to the hospital, but at that time Joni managed to get Karlenko's key. Then in the seconds before Karlenko died, he said that one more member of the Vortex was an insider from Mi-7.
MI7.
There's a mole in MI7.
A vole in MI7.
In the evening after Joni found out about it, he asked what he knew about the key to Simon, until not long after Tucker already knew who the third person Karlenko meant, asked Joni to meet him, and immediately accused Simon of being the third perpetrator, but in here Joni doesn't trust Tucker and he just kicks Tucker away.
Out!
Then Simon tells Joni that the third person Joni is looking for is Pact, then asks for the key Joni has got. After that Joni rushes to meet Pact, because now he intends to catch him, but that Pact even accused Joni back, because Simon had slandered Joni, and reported Joni to Mi-7, as the third perpetrator, and it turned out that at that time Joni had been surrounded by Mi-7, until Joni had to be shot in the leg, and made him have to take the wheelchair belonging to Pact after successfully escaping.
Boy!
Joni then came to Summer's house to ask for help before finally Joni fainted from exhaustion. Then when Joni had regained consciousness, Summer showed Joni the CCTV footage, when the presidential assassination occurred in Mozambique, until it was finally discovered that the Vortex's secret weapon was a drug, specially made to be able to control a person's mind. Not long after that, when Joni and Suma were having dinner, suddenly Simon came to pick up Summer to go to Switzerland, until because of that now Joni began to know that a third person was Joni was looking for Simon, but soon, Joni heard the sound of a vacuum cleaner, which turned out to be the old assassin who wanted to kill him.
Meanwhile, Tucker, who was still disappointed in Joni, initially didn't care about this mission, but at that time, Joni succeeded in motivating Tucker until Tucker was willing to rejoin, to complete this mission.
Set the sat-nav for Switzerland.
After that the two of them immediately rushed to Switzerland, where there was to be a meeting between the British and Chinese, but during the sneaking Joni made a mistake, which made him have to pretend to be dead to get in. After being inside, Joni immediately went to see Pamela, to tell about everything that was actually going on, while Simon, who knew his plan would be thwarted by Joni, he immediately came to meet them. Then there Joni pointed a gun at Simon swiftly, and said that Simon was the real culprit, but there Joni made a mistake again, because he instead drank medicine, aka the secret weapon from the Vortex, so that Joni's mind was controlled, and ordered to immediately kill the Chinese Prime Minister, but fortunately Joni remembered again words of the Guru, to make the mind master of the body.
Must be master of the body.
Meanwhile the Tucker managed to hack the frequency, and made Simon lose control of Joni. After that, because Simon was annoyed, he accidentally mentioned his name when ordering Joni, and that of course made his cover exposed, and because of that Simon ran away from there. But behind that, now Joni must be on the verge of death, because of the effects and influence of the drug. But after Joni got a kiss from Summer, Joni suddenly regained consciousness and was not affected by the drug anymore.
Where's Ambrose?
Then Joni, who knew Simon had run away, immediately jumped using a parachute to chase Simon, who was in the cable car. Joni, who managed to get in, was involved in a fight with Simon, until Joni accidentally had to fall from there. But fortunately Joni survived, and he also managed to kill Simon with a rocket that was in his umbrella gun. After the mission was completed, Joni was finally given an award by the Kingdom of London, but it turned out that the one who gave the award was not the Queen, but the old assassin, who was about to kill Joni. Then Joni immediately chased and managed to catch him, but not long after the royal soldiers came with bringing the grandmother to kill the Pei. Then the film was over.